that is the last time we're going to see that intro on this channel. Unless you watch them all again, which if you do, create a new account so I'll get more views, yeah? I kid, you don't have to do that. But it is very bittersweet. This is something that has been, a formative part of my life. As I was growing up, this was giving me, this and Buffy of course, was giving me various life lessons, making me think about the world differently. It's definitely been a big part of how I've grown into who I am today. Additionally, this project, these 2 videos every month, excluding the first one because of no highlight reel for Buffy Season 1. This project has stayed with me whilst I've moved even. I've changed addresses and I'm still doing these videos. It's a really long project. It's taken a lot of sort of time and effort because getting the various episodes together and getting the clips out that I want and everything like that, it's a massive load of work, I don't want to do too many TV series again because of this, because finding the right footage for the right moment. But that's not to say I've not enjoyed it. I love talking about this because, like I say, it is such a formative part of my life, and that's why it's bittersweet. It's not to say that I've not got big projects in the works for the future. There are sort of longer video essay type videos that I've got planned. There's a few series that I want to cover off, so, making a run for my own back. But it isn't going to be a long project like this. It'll be a few videos, maybe over the course of a month, at most. It's not going to be anything this drawn out, because starting up the music channel, which by now should hopefully be up, and there'll be some kind of links either near my head right now, or in the description, or maybe a highlighted comment. Have a look for it, go and give me support that way, see what you like over there, and yeah, all of that. But that obviously means that I can't devote too much time to one or the other. I've got to balance them out. I'm learning how to balance my workload. We'll see how that goes. Ask me in like 6 months. But yeah, we are at the end of our foray into the Buffyverse, and I said it in the Buffy ones, for those who weren't going to continue to Angel because they really didn't like it. But this is to everyone who has come for the whole journey. Thank you for allowing me this passion project. The views aren't sort of amazing levels, I know. But if one person watches it and enjoys it, then my job is done. And I know that, as an average, there's been more than one person watching it, and there are likes on the videos. And I used to, I'll admit that, but I don't like my own videos anymore. I like to have it as organic as possible. Thank you all for allowing me this passion project, and it's just enabled me to kind of continue doing it, and kind of like it's worthwhile. And I get to talk about something that I love as well. But this has been me waffling for like 3 minutes or something, so let's get on to our first entry, which is going to be a shortish one, and that's Conviction. I feel we needed to talk about the thing that opened this season because it was our first full episode in the Wolfram and Hart offices, which are nice and shiny and new now. We're fully settled in here, and we've got a new group of characters to sort of get on with and understand and know who they are, all this kind of thing, and really sort of start the ball rolling. What this season is, the tone, and where we're going with it. And of course we got introduced to people who we found things out about down the line that were not ideal, shall we say. And of course we had the resolution of what was set up at the end of Buffy Season 7 with the amulet that Spike wore to turn him into this weird vampire ghost, which, as we learn in subsequent episodes, he needs to be corporealized, incorporated, maybe? It's a bit of a businessy term, but I think it would technically be right. It sounds valid. But either way, otherwise he'll fade away, and ironically given the episode of the title of the last episode of the season. But we needed this to sort of set up the world, like I say, set up where we are, set up our players, and really say, this is what we're doing now. This is where we are. And it took a few episodes, we kind of got our feet, we got a few things under our belt, and then we got heartbreak number 1, really, in You're Welcome. And I said in the previous video, this was one where I figured it out. And it was one of those where I wasn't happy to have figured it out, because I knew ahead of time, and I suppose I could prepare for it, but it was still painful. Actually saying goodbye to Cordelia properly. I mean, the fact, her interactions in it, how she was and everything like that, just made me kind of think there is something not right here. She's not really there. This is like a a last manifestation before her body gives up the ghost and she's done. And of course, at the end of the episode, the phone call comes in. And it's just really, really heartbreaking. I mean, David plays it so well, you know, that you can see on his face that he appreciates it, he understands it, but he's not happy about it. Yeah, well, he's happy he got to see her one last time, but the fact that it's one last time. And like I say, it was such a great episode. It was so well done. I think, you know, everything that we've had this year as a farewell to characters has been handled beautifully. And you can't ask for more than that. Whilst we had sad moments and, you know, really kind of down moments and really dark moments towards the latter end of the season, we did get a wonderful respite partway through in Smile Time. And I said in the last one, people seem to be quite divisive on this. There are people who hated it because it's not, why have you put puppets in Angel? Oh, it's just silly. Have you met Joss Whedon? Well, not met, but, you know, are you familiar with Joss Whedon's work and the various writing team that he has around him? They're very silly people. They have great comic sensibilities. They like to embrace the weird. So don't be surprised when something like Smile Time comes along. You know, it was a great episode, and the interactions, you know, where he's so embarrassed about it, and there's obviously that werewolf girlfriend, hopefully, you know, sort of involved in the picture, and he's embarrassed around her because he doesn't, you know, it's not great for him to be this puppet thing, especially if, you know, she's in wolf form. You've got all these different elements, and, you know, Spike, of course, taking the absolute mick out of him. It's just a great way to sort of break up the darkness, to break up the sadness, to break up the grim of this world that they're now inhabiting. But it didn't take too long before we really started to ramp up towards the end of the season. You know, we've got the reintroduction of Lindsay and everything like that. You know, we've got this whole sort of arc building up. But partway through all this, we had a farewell to Fred and a greeting to Illyria. Of course, as we learn, it was actually a purposeful choice. She was chosen by her lab assistant. This guy, you know, I really hated Jonathan Woodward for a while as an actor, because my brain apparently did that thing where he must be also the character. I really hated it, the fact that, you know, he chose Fred to be the host for Illyria and ended up basically killing her. I mean, to him, he was elevating her. He was making her a god, so it's a good thing. But of course, to Wesley Gunn and everyone else, he's killed Fred. There's no way around that. I don't care what happens after that. That is not Fred anymore. And the moments where, you know, she just wants Wesley to lie to her and, you know, just say everything's okay, and, you know, that was a tearjerker. You know, I needed a lot of tissues, not for weird reasons, for eyes. Freaks. But, you know, that really got me, because, like I said in the last one, I've grown a fondness for this girl over the years. You know, her awkwardness, yet her brilliance, you know, matched together. Just such a great, interesting character. And again, Amy Acker did it really well. That said, with the creation of Illyria, Amy Acker got to show different acting chops. She was a very different beast. Fred was, you know, starting out as a timid, sheltered, secluded girl in trouble who became a genius, kind of valued member of the team, but still kind of awkward and very bookish and nerdy. Suddenly becomes a god who can do whatever she wants and has these amazing powers and just takes no crap from anyone. Brilliant. You know, we got to see a different side, and like I say, it's a shame that we had to go through that to get it. We had to lose Fred to gain Illyria, because if we could have somehow had both at the same time, I'd have been a lot happier. But that does lead us to the girl in question, where not only do we have the great plot of Spike and Angel chasing what they think is Buffy, who's having a relationship with the Immortal over in Italy, and like the Italian offices of Wolfram and Hart, with the great sort of boss there who's just so stereotypically Italian that I think it's bordering on almost like racist caricature. But, you know, it was so well done. And like I say, you know, I said last time, the whole thing with the Buffy plot of that was that it wasn't actually Buffy. Because you've read season 8 comics, she does have a decoy. Or 2 decoys, I think, at least. Because at the end of the day, after what she did at the end of season 7 of Buffy, she's got a big target painted on her back by all of the forces of evil. She has messed up the status quo and released a whole slew of vampire slayers who, some of which are untrained. This whole idea of kind of hunting down Buffy and sort of killing the immortal, all this kind of stuff, was all just a joke by Andrew. And that's genius. This shows again just how wonderful not only Tom Lank as an actor is, again, you know, going on that idea, but also the idea of it, how brilliant Andrew is, how much he's grown, that he takes up responsibility. He's still, again, very nerdy and things like that, but he's living an actual life. He's doing some good in the world, and that's always to be praised. But the other plot of this, which is what links to the last one, is the whole Illyria can pretend to be Fred. And that's a hard pill to swallow. For Wesley, especially with the offer that she makes, like, you know, she can do that anytime he wants, and it's a very difficult ethical, moral quandary. It's not Fred, but I can pretend. And, you know, I think in that situation, I'd be tempted. I'm not going to lie. I'd be like, well, okay, yeah, lie to me. Make it beautiful. Make me believe. But knowing that it isn't, I think would be very hard down the line. But fooling the Burkles, you know, I think that's what frustrated him more. He was gearing up. He was getting ready to kind of say, your daughter's gone. I'm sorry to tell you that. She's gone. And then she just steals that out from under him and goes, no, look, I'm here. I'm fine, Mum and Dad, look. It's very hard to watch, very hard to deal with. It was quite terrifying as an idea, you know. And like I say, it's a very difficult moral quandary. Because is it dishonouring the memory of Fred? Or is it allowing yourself to grieve at your own pace? You know, he can have her there for a bit whilst he still needs that connection. Once that's fine, go. Be free. The end of the season, we ramped up. Angel got in with the Circle of the Blackthorn. I think I've remembered that right. And, you know, the team thought he's turned rogue, he's gone evil again, but he's not Angelus. I'm very confused by this. What's going on? And they were gearing up, you know, to kind of stop him if necessary. But then he's like, no, wait, hold on. Now that this room's been sealed against any kind of eavesdropping, magical or otherwise, this is the plan. I've pretended I'm getting in with them. And what's really happening is I'm taking them down from the inside. I'm bringing the fight to them. I needed to get them on board. I needed to get them in one place. I needed to find out who the players were. And we're now going to take the fight to them. Wolfram Hart hasn't corrupted me. They haven't corrupted me. I've let them think that to lower their guard. And like I say, he brings the fight to them. We have the culmination of the plot with Lindsay. You know, because he's been a thorn in the side. I mean, it was great this year to sort of see him back. So it's nice to kind of have that thread wrapped up. And like I said in the last video, Lorne's the one that takes him out, and that's the last thing he's done with it. It's such a terrifying kind of thing for him to have to do, really. This is a guy who, when we first met him, his whole bar was predicated on the basis of peace. He had a ward in place that stopped demon violence. This is how much he hates this idea, but it needed doing. And like I say, that was his swan song. I mean, again, as with a lot of the other characters, there were comics that sort of dealt with it, but they were very careful with what they did, obviously following Andy Halleck's passing. They wanted to make sure the character was properly respected, and they stayed true to it, but didn't want to do anything too severe. And I totally understand that. But yeah, we did see a bit of Lorne in the future, but not quite in the same way. And then, of course, we have the big fight, you know, at the end. Everyone's gearing up, and we have the two vampires with a soul who've been fighting over whether the Shanshu prophecy means Spike or Angel, going, whoever it means, what matters is that we fight the good fight. If you get the Shanshu prophecy, great. If I get it, great. If we both get it, even better. But you know what? We're only going to get it one way, and we're only going to get it together. You know, even if it is only one of us, we've got to bring this fight out, and we've got to make a difference. We've got to change the world. We've got to save the world. So we get a massive battle planned. You know, we've got like dragons and everything like that. It's really dramatic, building up, and that's it. Angel is over. Until the comics. And I loved it. Like I said in the last one, this was, I guess, I would strongly believe, a big middle finger to the network, saying you can cancel us all you want, but we're not going to give you a, satisfying close. And I respect that. That takes some cojones, to be sure. And it's why I really enjoyed this last season of Angel, probably more than previous ones. I've said almost every year, this was a season of missteps, but a few good moments. This was a season of good steps with a few missed moments. And it was such a shame that the potential of Angel was only realised at its end. But like a lot of things in the world, we only realise how good they are once they've gone. And maybe that was it, Maybe because we knew this was the end, because they knew that there was no real risk here, they could make it what they wanted. And I'm glad they did. Because otherwise, Angel would have been soured forever in my mind with probably the Jasmine thing. If we hadn't have had this year, that would have been it. And I'm so glad that we got it. And it was a wise move bringing Spike over. I think it worked very well in their favour, shall we say. And there were a lot of people who had the Buffy hole that they wanted to be filled. That sentence sounded much better in my head. The hole that was left by not having Buffy on screens anymore. How's that? Sort of filled now by Angel, and having someone come over from that to sort of soften it. And obviously Angel's got his heritage, but he's now so far removed. But this was great, a great end to Buffy. And like I say, I'm bittersweet about it all. The Buffy and Angel arc of my life, if you will, on YouTube is over until the reboot. But like I say, I consider that very separate. But I said it before at the start, and I want to finish with it again. Thank you all very much for taking this journey with me and letting me have this passion project. There's bigger and better things in the horizon. There's audio improvements in the horizon. And I can't wait to get all this done and get out there and really make some great stuff for you all that won't be focused on Joss Whedon projects. So thank you all very much for watching. And until next time, as always, take care.